I'm going to tell you stories of Bangalore. Okay, because I'm a third generation Bangalorean. What does it mean, third generation? That means my parents were also born here and my grandparents were also born here. Okay, and my great-grandparents, they must have come from somewhere at some time and settled here. But I'm a third generation Bangalorean, so I'm very proud of it. How many of you were born in Bangalore? Here? 1, 2, 3. Were you born in Bangalore? No. Okay. The rest of you, you? No, not born in Bangalore. Okay, where were you all born? Raichur. Okay. Where were you born, Samhit? Oh, Bombay. Where were you born, sweetie? Kalki? Here? Okay. Where were you born? Hubli. Oh, nice. Okay. So you see, already in Ivan, you? Kerala. Kerala. Okay. Dikshit and Deepak? Huh? Guru. Wow, Guru. You're from Haryana, no? Yeah. Huh? Mudbidri. Okay, so just by talking to some 5, 6 children and 2, 3 teenagers and little older kids here, what have we found? You all call Bangalore home today, but very few of you were born in Bangalore, right? So Bangalore is that kind of town. Very few people are born here. People come from everywhere and settle here. Even if children are born here, if you ask them, were your parents born here? Most of them will say no. Because Bangalore is a city of what we call immigrants. People come from everywhere into Bangalore and they love it so much and they don't leave. Do you all like Bangalore? Yes? What do you like about Bangalore? It's a big city. That is also, even I love the fact that it's a very big city. I love big cities. No, America cities may not be as big as Bangalore actually. At least in terms of population, number of people, Indian cities are much bigger. Even in terms of size also. There are many Indian cities which are bigger than American cities. America has tall buildings, yes, that is true. But Bombay has tall buildings in Bangalore, in India. Yeah, so what I want to know why you particularly like Bangalore.
Because of the fun activities to do there.
Yeah, there's lots of fun stuff to do, like?
Like football, water slide and
Water slide where?
Wonderla.
Wonderla, yes. There are amusement parks like Wonderla. There's lots of fields and sports facilities to play sport. What else? What else do you all like about Bangalore? Anything else? The parks. Yes. So Bangalore, you know, we all adults will be crying that Bangalore used to be so green before and now it's all spoiled. But if you come from some other city in India to Bangalore, or even if you come from California, like my friends do, who are not Indian, when they come here, they say, my God, you have such beautiful trees. And you have so many trees, because even in America, there aren't so many, like, cities don't have trees, they have buildings. They have good footpaths, they have good lights, but they don't have trees everywhere, you know. Here we have coconut trees growing inside houses, right? So we treat trees like gods in India. We don't cut them down for no reason. In most other parts of the world, a tree is seen as something which you have in a park, and then if it's coming in the way somewhere when you want to build something, cut it down. Nobody, you know, in Bangalore, the biggest protests when they happen, when people are planning to cut down trees to build a flyover or to build something, everybody says, do we really need that flyover? Stop it, we love our trees. So that is the thing about Bangalore, that we love our trees very much. So it used to be called what? It is the city of gardens. It used to be called the garden city of India, and people, old Bangaloreans like me, will cry and say, oh, but now we don't have that many parks, but we still do. We still have a lot of parks compared to how many people we have and how many buildings we have and how much traffic we have. We also, just sitting here, just look out how many trees there are. There are just trees everywhere. So that is one nice thing about Bangalore, for sure. What else? The other nice thing which you haven't mentioned, which I don't blame you, because sitting here, I am also feeling very warm right now. But actually, one of the greatest things about Bangalore is its weather. Right? It makes everything possible. You feel it's okay to go outdoors anytime. You want to go for a run, yes. You don't have to see what's the season, what time of day is it. You can go. Yeah, and you can through the year, not much seasons. You're right. Except for March and April when it gets very warm. But even that very warm is not so warm compared to Gurgaon, say, where you come from. Anywhere else in India, unless you live on the hills or something, it's very warm.
Yeah, here it's like hot. Even in the rainy season also.
Here, no, here it's not so hot. Have you, this past 2 months, June and July, what fun it was. It was such lovely weather, right? Don't you think so? We had like real air-conditioned city. Yeah, it's almost getting cold in the early mornings and late evenings. It was cold. So yeah, Bangalore's weather is wonderful because it allows you to go out and do outdoor activities without feeling tired even before you step out. In other cities, what do you have to do? Oh God, it's a hot day, everybody go back into AC and sit because that's the only thing you can do. So how did this city of Bangalore, how old do you think it is? What's your name? Hi. What's your name, sweetie? Sorry? Laser. Oh, Nasser. Okay. And what's your name? Say again loudly. Samashri. Nasser means Nesara. Okay, okay. Oh, that's such an unusual name. I've never heard it. How old are you guys? What class? Third. Okay. And you? Ninth. Okay. So this session is for anyone. It doesn't matter what your age is because we're going to be talking about the city of Bangalore and its history. Okay, so adults are also very welcome to sit and listen. So how old do you think this city is? This is your hometown now, right? How old do you think Bangalore is? Anybody can answer, even the older people. No, we got independence, yes, in 1947. That's okay. But the city of Bangalore is how old? It was there even before independence. Just guess. Guess. Doesn't matter. Huh? 20 years. 200 years. Okay? No, it's older than that. 400 years? Little older than that. It's little less than 500 years. Okay?
450.
Wait, I have to calculate first. There is 12 years left for it to become 500 years. 488. It's 488 years old. It's a very old city, and that is only the official founding date. The unofficial founding date is much, much before. So what happened 488 years ago? Why do we say it's the official founding date of Bengaluru? Because a chieftain actually built a mud fort enclosing a town and called it Bengaluru. What was this chieftain's name? Yeah. So why don't you come sit here? Yeah. All of you come. It's fine. Yeah. How old are you? 9th standard? 14. Then perfect. You're perfect for this session. So Kempegowda built this town. Do you not know about Kempegowda? Yeah. How can you not know about Kempegowda? And you may not know that he is the founder of the town, but you've heard the name, right? Many statues. This is also a new thing. Huh? We didn't used to have so many statues at all of anyone in Bangalore. And suddenly everybody started putting up big, big statues of Kempegowda. I have no idea why. But anyway, Kempegowda, as soon as you've come in from the airport, it's Kempegowda International Airport with a giant statue. And even the metro station is called, at the railway station is called Kempegowda, I think. Or maybe not. Maybe Sangoli Rayana, KSR it's called. The railway station is called KSR, which is a different hero. Yeah, but anyway, Kempegowda was a chieftain of a place called Yelahanka. Do you know where Yelahanka is? Yeah, yeah. So he was a chieftain, a small chieftain. He wasn't a great king. He had a small fiefdom and he was a chief of that. But he was part of a much larger empire, which was one of the greatest empires in the south 500 years ago. So you are all maybe too small to know, but you might have heard it. But all of you, the older ones, would have studied about that empire. A great South Indian empire in the 1500s. Yes, Vijayanagara. So it was the Vijayanagara Empire. It was called the Vijayanagara Empire. Huge South Indian empire, very, very rich, very, very prosperous, with some great kings, and they brought like culture, arts, and everything back into this region. And the king, one of the greatest kings of that empire, what was his name? No, not Tipu. Tipu was here, Mysore, but in Hampi. Hampi was the capital of Vijayanagara. You've heard of Hampi? Yeah. Have you all been to Hampi? You have? Yeah, if you haven't been and you live in Bangalore, please go. Or if you're visiting Bangalore also, please make a visit to Hampi. It has something about it. I go every single year because it's like a pilgrimage for me. There is something about Hampi. When you go there, you feel the oldness, the ancientness. It's very ancient, it's very sacred, and it's beautiful. There is the big river flowing through it. What's that big river flowing through Hampi called? It's a big, big river in Karnataka.
Oh, Kaveri.
No, Kaveri is here. Good, good you're answering, but Tippu and Kaveri are all here in the south. This Hampi is sort of central Karnataka. No, Netravati, no. Big, much bigger than Netravati. Godavari is above, it doesn't flow through Karnataka. Godavari is not in Karnataka. Krishna is also a little higher than Hampi, more north than Hampi. Yes, the Tungabhadra. So can you all say that to me back? What's the name of the river? Tungabhadra. And it flows through which capital? Hampi. Hampi was the capital of which empire? Vijayanagara. And who was one of the greatest kings of Vijayanagara? Krishnadevaraya. You all know of Krishnadevaraya? But actually not many, more people know of his court jester than they know about him. People know about what was his court jester's name? Tenali Raman. That's exactly. All of you have heard of Tenali Raman, right? He's the funny guy. All the lovely stories about him. So many stories about Tenali Raman, very few stories about Krishnadevaraya. But actually he was the great king. Very little we know. In fact, I have written a book. I didn't bring it today, but it's at the bookstore. You can go and see. It's called Krishnadevaraya, King of Kings. And when I was researching for that book, there was so little information about him. You know how we know about Krishnadevaraya? We only know about him because foreign travelers who visited his kingdom left notes. They wrote about him. That's how we know. We ourselves have no literature, not much about him. Anyway, so Krishnadevaraya was the king of Hampi. It was a very large empire, the Vijayanagara Empire. And Yelahanka was a minor principality, means minor kingdom to the south of Vijayanagara, the southernmost border. So in those days, Krishnadevaraya conquered Yelahanka. And when you conquered a country, it was each of them was a country, right? So he conquered a country very far away from you. How do you keep control of that little kingdom which is at the border? It's very hard, no? Today, if you're going to Hampi from Bangalore in a very fast car on very good roads, it will still take you 5 hours to reach. 5 hours, okay? But if you go very fast and there's not much traffic and everything, you will reach in 5 hours. But in those days, when there were no roads and you had to go on horseback and all the land around us in Bangalore, is it very flat land or is it hilly land? It's hilly. We are built on a series of granite hills. That is why we have our wonderful weather, because we are at an elevation, right? We are at a height. How high are we when compared to sea level? Anybody knows?
To the sea level and to the sea.
Yes, how high? No, in numbers. Not, we are way higher than this. We are about a kilometer above sea level. 1 kilometer. 1 kilometer above sea level. So when you go upwards, 1 kilometer on the road itself is very far. Imagine if that road of 1 kilometer stood up. That's really quite high. So because we are so high, that's why we get good weather through the year. Okay, because when you are higher, the weather is always cooler. We know this, right? If you go up the Himalayas and really high up, then it's only ice. There is nothing else there. So Krishnadevaraya, how did he used to keep control of things that were very big? What they would do, these kings, when they conquered a small principality, they would ask that king, okay, you have two choices now. Either I can take your head off right now, and that will be the end of you, or you will acknowledge that I am your king, you will bow to me, you will give me tribute every year, you will pay me this much amount of tax every year as a tribute, you'll say you are my overlord, and you will also maintain an army for me. So this is now my kingdom. If anybody attacks my kingdom, you will send your army, because the king at the center, how many soldiers can he keep? He can't have his soldiers surrounding his whole kingdom, right? It's too big. So they used to say that. And usually what would the king say? Take my head off or I will pay tribute. What would he say, you think? What would you have said if you had been faced with that choice? Huh? I will pay. Obviously you'll say, even you may not have the money and you don't know how your little kingdom is going to manage if you give away so much to the main king. But you say, yeah? What's that? Oh, my name. I didn't even tell you my name. So sorry. My name is Roopa Pai. I write for children, and I've written more than 37. I've written 37 books. Not all of them are for children. In the recent past, I've started writing for adults as well, and I write about Bangalore a lot. So this is my new book. It's called Becoming Bangalore, and it's got stories of. It says stories that shaped a hometown. So this is my hometown, and this is a compilation. It's not a story from beginning to end, like you don't have to read the whole book. It's a collection of columns, short pieces about Bangalore that I've been writing for almost 5 years in the newspapers. Okay, so every 15 days I write a column, and each column is only 600 words. So 600 words in this book is exactly this and this, just 2 pages. That's all. Each story is only this much. But each talks about a different aspect of the city, so that you, and you know, people ask me, why did you call it Becoming Bangalore? What does that mean? Because when I was researching I've been talking about Bangalore for 20 years, because I'm also part of a company called Bangalore Walks, and we take people on walks around Bangalore. We have done for the last 20 years, telling them the history and heritage and showing them stuff. And I do the walks for children. Okay, there are others who do for adults, I do for children. So I've been talking about Bangalore for so long. But writing a book was a different thing, because you have to research it and you have to make sure nothing is, you know, all the facts are straight, etc. So I put it together. See, don't you like the cover? It's so bright and beautiful and pretty, and it has a lot of very Bangalore things in it, starting with this. Have you seen this in Bangalore? Yeah, all our street names and our localities. This is a very specific concrete made board of this design that we have in Bangalore. Okay, so there is a little story about this little thing that is there in the middle of this circle, but I will tell you about it. Huh? In the middle of that yellow circle, on the board. Ah, correct. It looks like a mantapa. What kind of mantapa is it? Well, I'll talk about that. You can all pass it on and see that little thing that is there in the middle, okay? Yeah. So, I was saying, so Kempegowda said, he also said, no, don't take my head off. I will pay tribute to you. And Krishnadeva was very happy, because he was keeping his fingers crossed behind his back that he will say, I will continue to rule. Because how will Krishnadeva rule a kingdom that's so far away from him? That means he'll have to put somebody in charge. It's more difficult. When he puts somebody in charge, the people won't respect him. They may not know the language. Because in India, you know, right? Every 200 miles or so, language changes. Even in North Karnataka, how you speak Kannada is very different from how we speak it in Bangalore. So language is continuously changing. So he was very happy. He said, okay, Kempegowda, you take charge of it. So Kempegowda became it's called vassal, V-A-S-S-A-L. He became a vassal of Krishnadeva, and he continued to rule. Then he did very well for his king in a battle. So when enemies of Krishnadeva attack the southern border, it's Kempegowda's job to send them away. So he fought very well in a battle. He sent people away. He sent the enemy away, and by then Krishnadeva had died. There was a new king on the throne called Achyutadeva. Okay? So Achyutadeva called Kempegowda and said, how did he die? He died of old age, actually, not in a battle. He died of old age. Okay, and Achyutadeva became the next king. So he went and said, Achyutadeva was very pleased with Kempegowda. He said, excellent, you protected my kingdom. This is great. Ask for any reward and you shall have it. And what did Kempegowda ask for? He said, you know what? I'm a little tired of Yelahanka. It's very old and dilapidated and I'm boring. I want to build myself a brand new capital city. Do I have permission, O king? And Achyutadeva said, sure, you have permission, but remember, you're only allowed to build your town within a mud fort, not within a stone fort. Don't even think about building a stone fort. Why do you think he said that? Huh? Sorry? No. He said, wherever you build your capital, no building a stone fort, only mud. Royalty, okay, that may be one thing, that a stone fort would make him like equal to the king kind of thing. But there was a more practical reason. Huh? Say loudly. Durability. No, not durability, but something to do with that. He's Yes, exactly. So if Kempegowda rebelled again, he always in danger of having rebellion from the kings you have conquered. So if Kempegowda rebels against Achyutadevara, he can't attack him if he has a stone fort. He becomes very safe inside. So he said only mud fort. So Kempegowda said fine, fine, fine. And then one day he said let me go and look for a place to build my new capital. So from Yelahanka he got on his horse and started riding south. If you ride south from Yelahanka, you come towards center of Bangalore where Vidhan Sauda is and all that, okay? So he started riding down, came towards the center of Bangalore. It was a very hot day, they say. Very hot day means it must have been March and April. Thank you. So it was a hot day and he was riding and coming and then he said, my God, it's so hot, I should take a bit of a nap maybe, I should take a rest. Now, we talked about it already, Bangalore is built on a series of hills, okay? So when you're riding on hills and the sun is beating down, does it get very, very hot? Yeah. And also, do you have like lush green forest growing on rocky hills or not? Really? On rocky hills? On muddy hills, yes, there'd be forests and foliage and lots of plants. But if it's a rocky granite hill, you don't have many trees and plants. So you may have some vegetation which grows up to this much or something, little scrubby vegetation. Huh? Yeah, grass, that's all. Wherever the water collects, wherever there is a slope and the water collects there, then there may be some, plants and trees, but otherwise no. So there was very little shade, but he slept in the shade of a little bush, Kempegowda, and he was fast asleep, little bit snoring, when suddenly he heard a scrabbling sound in the bushes. And because he was a good soldier and a very alert kind of guy, he sprang to his feet. He drew his sword from his scabbard and he says, who goes there? Who goes there? Who goes there? Okay, and then he felt a little sheepish because who went there was a little rabbit. The rabbit was making that sound. And then he said, oh God, just a rabbit. And then he looked again and his eyes almost fell out of his head because the rabbit had turned and was snarling. Snarling means, okay, the rabbit was snarling at a dog. Usually it's the other way around, the rabbits are running away from dogs. Here the rabbit had turned and was snarling at a dog and the dog was so surprised, so startled that it tucked its tail between its legs and ran away whining. And Kempegowda said, this is a sign from the heavens. It shows me that this land is Veerabhumi. What is Veerabhumi? Heroic land. If I build my capital here, then one day, just now I'm like a little scared rabbit, but one day I'll be able to turn around and snarl at Achyutadevaraya and chase him away and I can become the big hound again. Okay, so that is why he decided to build his capital here and he called it in mud. Yes. He built a mud fort around it because he didn't have permission for that. Huh? The boundary, is it still there, you're asking? What is he saying? What is a mud fort? It's a fort, like a wall. A high wall around the city, built of mud. A high wall. Why did cities need walls around them? To block for, not so much, sorry? Come closer. That's true. But a mud fort wasn't much protection, but still you needed a mud fort. You needed a fort, you needed a boundary wall. Why did you need a boundary wall for a city? Huh? Protection, he already said, but there was some other important reason. Why do you need a boundary wall? Just to know who is coming in and who is going out. So you have to have gates within the boundary wall because you can't monitor, otherwise if there's no wall, anybody can come in at any time and do anything. So not even to attack you, but people can come and start living, right? So you built a fort with gates so that the gates could be manned by guards. Like now we have in residential apartment complexes, there's always somebody taking down who has entered, who has left. So like that, what is the other reason to have gates? Why should you know who is coming in and who is going out? Because you can charge tax. If somebody is bringing in goods to sell, then you can say, oh, you're bringing in goods to sell, then you need to pay me this much. Because I'm allowing you into my city to sell. You're going to make money here, so you pay me a little tax. I mean, it's all according to the rules of the king only, not that simply they're extracting money. They have to take a tax. And anybody who leaves also, you pay a tax and you're taking stuff away from the city to sell anywhere else and you're going to make money there. So that's just a monitoring system. So our Bangalore had 8 gates. The Bangalore fort had 8 gates in the 8 different directions and people used to go in and out of all gates, okay? So, do you think that story is true of the hare and the hound, or it could be just a legend? It's true? Maybe. There is no official record of it. It's just a story. So in India, history is all kinds of history, right? In the West, mostly they say unless we find the correct proof and we have seen somebody has written about it, or it's carved on stone or something, then it's not true. But in India, we don't think so. In India, even oral history is a repository of memory, of people's memory. How else do you pass it on? Through stories like this. So this was what Kempegowda's story was. But what is the core of the story? The core of the story is that this is heroic ground. And this place is bound to prosper. Have we prospered? Yes. Did Kempegowda choose right? Yes. But practically, why would he have chosen to, where the old fort was? Has anybody been to City Market? So there's the old KR Market, Victoria Hospital. Have you been to Victoria Hospital? Have you been to Tipu's fort, Tipu's palace in Bangalore? That was the area that Kempegowda built. Avenue Road, State Bank of Mysore, Kempegowda Road. So all of this was where? It's still there. The wall is not there anymore because it was a mud wall, so it's fallen away. But all the places, the roads and everything that he built is still there. And there is a police station when you go towards the Bangalore Corporation where the mayor sits, and that police station is called the Halasuru Gate Police Station. Halasuru Gate. That was where the gate of the fort was, which was leading east towards Alsur. So like that, there are little markers that we know it was exactly there. Now, Kempegowda's, he was the first king, okay? Then Kempegowda's son, I was saying why else would he choose to build there? Because, even now if you go to a very tall building in Bangalore and you look around, you will see there are hills, faraway hills, blue hills. Nandi Hills is there, Savandurga is there. There are so many hills around us. And why would you pick a space between hills to build a capital city? Exactly, it's easier to defend. You can have people posted on the hills and you can see from far away when the enemy is coming. So height is a good advantage and it also is a good defense. The other reason why he chose to build here was because there were lots of lakes, places where water naturally collected. Why would water naturally collect on in a hilly place? Because it will come down the slope. So there are many, it's not like how we draw hills, like one V like that. Hills are like this. So wherever there is a slope and there's a lower part, there is water collecting. Yeah, rounded peaks. So he said this, if I build here, there'll always be water, because otherwise where do people build cities? Not near lakes. Near what kind of water bodies? Sea, either the ocean or rivers. Any old civilization that you see. Where is the Egyptian civilization built? On the banks of the Nile. Where was the Indus Valley civilization built? On the Indus River. Where were the great empires of the North India built? Ganga, on the Ganga basin. So wherever there are, even in China, even in Mesopotamia, all built on banks of rivers. But Kempegowda chose to build instead on a high place. There are no rivers. So it's difficult to get water. Why were rivers so important to the ancient people? For the water to drink, of course, but what else? Crops. Yes, irrigation. Why is it important for irrigation? Because the banks of rivers have the most fertile soil, right? They're called the alluvial plains. Alluvial means where the river deposits the best topsoil, because river comes from far away, it brings soil within it and it deposits them on its banks. And when it's up on a hill, it's difficult to grow crops, but when you're in a plain and there are flat land all around and you keep depositing mud, it becomes the most fertile plain. So even Krishnadevaya, all the time he was fighting for control of a particular region between the Krishna and the Tungabhadra. That was the most fertile region. Everybody wanted it. And such regions are plenty in India between two rivers, and they are called Doab, two rivers. So the Raichur Doab, where between the two rivers, Krishna and Tungabhadra, very, very fertile. Everybody wants that. Anyway, our Kempegowda built the capital, built his little town, and then he realized, oh wait, I have built my town, I have made it so beautiful, but there aren't enough people to populate it. There wasn't enough of a native population. So he said, what to do, how to populate? So today in Bangalore, builders, they build apartment complexes. Then how do they tell people to come and stay? What do? They advertise. So I think Kempegowda also must have advertised, hey, I have this new city, it's all ready, come and check it out. And he'd have said, and what would he have said? What would he have said as the advantages? Why should you come and live in my city? Water, there is safety, excellent. He would have said 24/7 security is there with the mud fort wall. Then there is water everywhere. They can do what? He gets tax, yeah. But more importantly, there should be people to pay tax, no? So you're inviting people, come, and he'd say, first time you come, you don't have to pay tax, all that he might have said. There was one particular lake that was very close to the fort where he built, so he thought it could come from there. It was called Dharmambudhi Lake. Today that lake is not there, but there is a very, very important Bangalore landmark there. Anybody can tell? Okay, I'll give you a clue. You'll know that it used to be a lake because it's like this. It's a little bowl. You have to go down. It's like not like a valley, but like a bowl. Okay, and a rocky bowl where something has been built. And even today you have to go down into it. That is the Majestic bus stand. That was where the Dharmambudhi lake was. But the Majestic bus stand, if you've ever been, or you should go and see, it's like this, you have to go down into it, because it used to be a lake bed. Another place in Bangalore is like that, where there used to be another lake called Sampangi tank. And you probably have been there, because it's opposite Cubbon Park. And it's not a lake, something has been built there, and you might have visited that place. Kantirava Stadium, excellent. Kantirava Stadium, not Chinnaswamy. Kantirava Stadium is also you have to go down into it. Huh? Football stadium also used to be a lake. Yeah. So wherever it's going down, no, that means you can tell that maybe it was part of a lake earlier. So Kempegowda, so I said there were not too many people, so he started advertising, and then people came to check it out, and they said, oh, this place is lovely. It has separate little enclaves for people who trade in different items. Because can you visualize a map of India in your head? Yeah, can you think of the map of India in your head? Sort of. Do you know how South India is like this? Like a V peninsula, exactly. Why is it called a peninsula? 3 sides by water, 1 side by land. So what is the southern Indian peninsula? On the east, what do we have? Which ocean? East, Bay of Bengal. On the west, Arabian Sea. Below, in the south, Indian Ocean. So this is the peninsula. Where is Bangalore in this peninsula? Absolutely in the center. It is absolutely in the center of the peninsula. Okay, we may not realize it now, because you'll be looking at the outlines of the states and all. You don't actually see where Bangalore is. If you take if you take the map of India, draw one line from north to south directly in the middle, bisect, and then take the southern peninsula, draw one line east to west, bisecting. The 2 lines meet at Bangalore. It's right in the center. So if a place is equidistant from the coasts, from both the coasts, what does it make the place? Why it becomes an important place? No, climatic conditions, actually Bangalore is good climatic conditions because it's on a hill. But the distance from the sea isn't. Yeah, exactly, for trade. It's very important for trade. So earlier trade didn't happen by aeroplane or trains. It used to be only ship and then bullock cart. So from somewhere from the west, maybe from Arabia, you'll get some goods will come by ship. They will dock at which port? If you go straight west from Bangalore, which port do you hit? Mangalore. So you hit Mangalore. And if you go straight east from Bangalore, which port do you hit? Chennai. So, you know, the goods would come to Mangalore port, then they would be loaded onto elephants or cows or whatever. Then they would cross the Western Ghats, come to Bangalore. It will become a great, even from the east, people have come. They exchange their goods here and they go back. So that's why Bangalore was so important as and from its location as a trading point. So all this happened, and so he invited people. People came. They said this great trading. So for people of different trades, Kempegowda had created little towns inside the fort. It was small, but there was an Anche Pete, Akki Pete, Arale Pete, Uppar Pete, Bale Pete. So what was it? Bale Pete is where the bangle sellers are. Uppar Pete is where all the salt makers are. Chick Pete, Dodda Pete. There was all this, okay? So each of them, and what else was Akki Pete is what? Rice. Uppar Pete is salt. Arale Pete? Alla. Arale is cotton, actually. Well, there was some other, you know, Nagarat Pete, adu idu. So different things. And so there were places for different trades to actually conduct their trade and do business. So people really liked it, and they loved the weather, and they said the more importantly what? When does trade happen? That's not okay. But when the trading place, what is more important for traders? It should be no, not particular things. When a trade has to go on in a peaceful way, what is important? There has to be? No, it has to be a peaceful place. Okay, if there are constant fights and politics and governments are changing, some king is attacking, then trade can't happen. It has to be very peaceful. Another thing for good trade to happen is the locals of that place shouldn't hate you. They shouldn't be trying to push you out because you became rich through trade. They should be welcoming. So when people came here to check out Bangalore, they said, wow, the locals are so friendly. The local people are so nice, so accommodating, so welcoming that this is a great place to be. And that's how people came and began to live in Bangalore. Okay? And so Kempegowda at that time, he threw open all the 8 gates of the fort and said, come and occupy my city, come. And I like to say that even 500 years later, those gates have not shut. Even today, people come from everywhere, come to Bangalore, and they say, oh, the weather is so lovely, the trade is so good. Trade means startup. Now we have startups, we have IT, we have computer science, we have biotech. And they say, this is so nice. And they say, even though there's people may say, oh, they want us to learn Kannada, etc. But mostly people say it is such a welcoming city that anybody can come and feel at home here. Because people in Bangalore speak every language. If you speak in Tamil, they are able to understand. If you speak in Telugu, they are able. Because Bangalore, the location of Bangalore, if you draw the Karnataka border, where is Bangalore? Is it in the center of Karnataka? No, it's in the edge of Karnataka. Yeah, so it's so much closer to Hosur in Tamil Nadu. It is close to Lepakshi in Andhra Pradesh. It's even close to places in Kerala. Than it is to Bijapur or something. So even though it's the capital of Karnataka, it's much closer to all these places. And there have always been people speaking different languages passing through Bangalore. And that's why we have become a very cosmopolitan. Cosmopolitan means people from anywhere can come and find that they are welcomed here. And is that a good thing or a bad thing? Today, if you look at the newspapers, it's almost as if, oh God, we should keep our land for our people. And we should throw all the outsiders out. What is Trump saying in America? He's saying throw everybody out. What did Britain do? They broke away from the EU, the European Union, and they said it was called Brexit, Britain's exit. They got away, they said we don't want to be part of this. So everybody is pulling up closing their doors and saying we don't want immigrants. But is that a wise thing? Who drew these borders? Human beings. And does a river know that there is a border? River peacefully, Kaveri goes from Karnataka to Tamil Nadu, no problem. Then we fight about the water. But the river doesn't care. It doesn't see any boundaries. And what has Bangalore benefited from people from outside coming here? Definitely. You know, if you see the Mysore kingdom, the Diwans, the prime ministers of Mysore who did so much to make Bangalore such a wonderful city, They were not Kannadiga. They spoke Kannada, yes, but they were not Kannadigas. They were Telugu people, they were Tamil people, they were Marathi people, they were people like Mirza Ismail who spoke Persian at home. So people spoke many different languages, but they brought their energy and their goodness and their talent to help this city grow because we welcomed them. But if we stop welcoming people, then people won't come and the city will not be as enriched as it is. Even this festival, Book Brahma Literature Festival, why is it being held? Because these are all languages of Bangalore. There are Tamil sessions, there are Telugu sessions, there are Malayalam sessions, Kannada sessions and English. All these 5 are languages of Bangalore. They should have, maybe there will be some Urdu also next time. That's also very much a language of Bangalore. Okay, so that's why the Book Brahma organizers said, this is the only city where we can host a festival like this and people will come to listen to all the authors. If you hosted something like this in Chennai or Hyderabad, you won't get so many people coming from other languages. There will only be people of those languages. So, because you are young citizens, I want you to keep this in mind, that it's never a good idea to say no to people coming in. Okay? You have to protect yourself, of course, but how much time do I have, Anupama? We're done. Okay, so just a little introduction about Bangalore for all of you. I hope you enjoyed that. If you want to buy this book or other books, there is a lovely children's bookshop. Even if you don't buy my book, there's a lovely bookshop selling Indian children's books only called Funky Rainbow. So I would advise you to go and look for it. But go after some time, not yet, because we have another session starting. We have another session. Seema is starting right now or in 10 minutes? 5-10 minutes. So you can go see the shop and come back in 10 minutes. We have a lovely storytelling session by Seema. Oh, immediately? 5 minutes, no? Yeah. Thank you. Yes. Yeah.
I
You read
have
it?
that all the books in one.
Oh.